Welcome back to The Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're tuning in today because we are breaking down the exact 7 habits that literally guarantee financial failure. We're pulling this straight from our source material on wealth creation, and honestly, we're going to look at the precise roadblocks keeping millions of folks from reaching their true financial potential. If you've ever felt like you're just running on a financial treadmill, getting nowhere, well, you are in the exact right place. Let's get right to it.
Okay, let's dive into this. What is truly keeping you from wealth? I mean, think about it. In today's U.S. economy, with inflation doing its thing and job markets constantly shifting, what invisible barriers might be completely sabotaging your own financial success right now? Is it just your salary? Or is it possible that the everyday habits you consider totally normal are actually the very things chaining you to the middle class? Sometimes the absolute biggest obstacles aren't out there in the world, right? They're the subtle, everyday choices we make without even realizing it. So here they are. These are the 7 wealth-blocking traps we'll be covering today. Working for just money, buying a lifestyle, doing everything yourself, having too many inputs, being ego-driven, passing the blame, and staying static. I promise you a high-energy, totally no-nonsense breakdown of every single one of these. By the end of this explainer, you'll know exactly what to cut out of your life to really accelerate your journey to true wealth.
To make this super easy to digest, we've grouped these 7 traps into an agenda covering 3 distinct phases of failure: the money and lifestyle traps, the bottleneck of doing everything, and ego, blame, and stagnation. And finally, we'll wrap up with subscribe and build wealth.
Section 1. The money and lifestyle traps. This is where most young professionals and aspiring entrepreneurs make their earliest and honestly most costly mistakes. So the crucial point is, if you're only working to get a paycheck, you are severely limiting your wealth. Trap number 1 from our source material is working for just money. Look, when you trade your time purely for dollars, you're trapped in a linear equation. There are only so many hours in a week, right? True wealth actually comes from uncoupling your time from your earnings. You need to focus on building long-term value, acquiring assets, and building equity. If your only goal on Monday morning is to somehow survive until Friday's direct deposit hits your bank account, you're missing the bigger picture of wealth creation entirely.
And that brings us directly to trap number 2, buying a lifestyle. It is shockingly easy to fall into the illusion of looking rich rather than actually becoming rich. We see this everywhere, don't we? People financing luxury cars, buying designer clothes, putting lavish vacations on credit, all just to project an image of wealth. But buying a lifestyle is the exact opposite of delaying gratification for actual wealth. When you spend your money on depreciating consumer goods just to impress people, you are literally draining the capital you desperately need to buy real wealth-generating assets. True wealth is so often the money you don't see. It's the investments, the real estate, the businesses, just quietly growing in the background.
Section 2. The bottleneck of doing everything. This is the operational trap where your own hard work actually starts working against you. Trap number 3 is doing everything yourself. Now, when you're just starting out, sure, wearing every single hat is totally necessary. But as you grow, doing everything yourself puts a strict, unbreakable ceiling on your earning potential and your time. You simply cannot scale if you're the one doing the bookkeeping and the marketing and the customer service and the product development. You really have to learn to delegate to scale your value. If you absolutely refuse to let go of control, well, you aren't building a business or true wealth. You're really just building a very demanding, low-paying job for yourself.
But then you think, wait, I need to learn how to scale. So you jump online, and suddenly someone is shouting, "New investment strategy!"
And before you can even process that, someone else says, "No, wait, you need to listen to another podcast."
And then it's, read one more article, try this side hustle, buy this course, look at this new crypto coin. It just never ever stops.
And this brilliantly illustrates trap number 4, having too many inputs. Consuming endless advice and data leads directly to action paralysis. It completely prevents execution. You spend literally all your time researching the perfect way to get rich that you never actually start doing the work required to get rich. You become an expert at consuming content, but a total novice at taking action. To actually build wealth, you have to aggressively curate your inputs, pick a lane, and just focus on execution.
Section 3. Ego, blame, and stagnation. We are now moving into the final and most toxic phase, focusing on the deeply rooted psychological barriers that just destroy wealth.
Let's move to and see how this builds. These aren't just isolated problems. They actually form a failure sequence. Step 1 is being ego-driven, which naturally leads to Step 2, passing the blame when things go wrong, which ultimately traps you in Step 3, stand completely static. If you let this sequence take hold in your mind, it practically guarantees financial ruin over time.
Let's look closely at Trap 5. Being ego-driven limits your ability to learn. Why? Well, because you think you already know it all. Being ego-driven completely blinds you to your own mistakes. If you can't admit when a strategy isn't working, or when you've made a really poor financial decision, you can't pivot. You end up throwing good money after bad simply to protect your pride. Wealth requires extreme humility. You have to be willing to be the dumbest person in the room so you can actually absorb the necessary lessons to succeed.
And when that ego-driven person inevitably fails, they hit Trap 6, passing the blame. Remember this, because it is absolutely crucial. Passing the blame surrenders your control. This is incredibly profound. Whenever you blame the U.S. economy, or the stock market, or your boss, or your upbringing for your lack of wealth, you are quite literally giving away your power to fix the problem. I mean, if it's someone else's fault, then someone else has to fix it, right? Which just makes you a helpless victim. Real wealth builders take extreme ownership. Even if a setback isn't entirely your fault, it is entirely your responsibility to navigate out of it.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is Trap 7, staying static in a changing world. Look, the world of money, business, and technology is moving at lightning speed. Think about AI right now. Think about massive market shifts. If you stay static, if you just cling to the way things used to work and refuse to adapt your skills, your wealth will inevitably decline. Inflation will eat your cash, and automation will eat your outdated skills. Wealth generation is a highly active, dynamic process. You have to evolve, you have to adapt, and you absolutely have to keep moving forward.
Section 4. Subscribe and build wealth. Let's wrap up these structured insights from the source material and talk about your next steps.
If you found this direct, slide-based explainer highly valuable for your own financial journey, I really want you to hit that subscribe button right now. We are totally dedicated to bringing you the most focused, actionable insights without the fluff to help you navigate today's economy. So please subscribe to the channel so you never miss a strategy that could be the exact missing piece to your wealth puzzle.
I want to leave you with one final, pretty provocative thought. Which of these 7 traps is holding you back the most? Seriously, is it doing everything yourself? Is it buying a lifestyle? Or maybe it's having way too many inputs? Head down to the comments section right now and tell me your biggest bottleneck, because naming the problem is always the first step to destroying it. Thank you so much for joining me on The Explainer today. Please comment and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.